Broadcasting live, this is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers Report for Saturday, July 10th. I'm Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. It's kind of a special abbreviated edition of the Handicappers Report because a lot of our equipment has already moved up to our Saratoga set. So it's just going to be me in here today, and I'll take a look at Belmont and also a quick look at a couple of the stakes at Delaware as well, because they have a nice day with the Del Cap over there. But Belmont on Saturday, we'll go through that card and give you some ideas. And as I say, it'll be a little bit of an abbreviated edition because of the situation with our equipment being up the turnpike. But that means tomorrow morning, we will have a Racing Across America at 10 a.m. live from our Clare Court set up in Saratoga. So we're kicking it off. It's right around the corner, Thursday. Opening day at Saratoga. But still some good racing down at Belmont. It should be fun. Really nice card on Saturday at Belmont with the Belmont Derby and the Belmont Oaks and more. And why don't we jump right into it? The Belmont card for Saturday, July 10th, kicks off with maiden specials going 6 furlongs on the grass. Should it go on the dirt? I pretty much kept things just the same because I didn't think the main track onlys didn't necessarily jump out at me. Between those two, I would certainly tilt towards Dr. Jeff. But on turf, and as I say, on dirt, I kept it pretty much just the same. Maybe you'd pull in the number 2. But 8, 7, 6, and 9 on grass, just say when. I like not this time runners as being win early types, and then you toss in Wesley Ward, a 2-year-old sprinting on the turf. It just all adds up. The old nature and nurture at work for just say when. We'll put that one on top. Flip the script. Again, a little bit of breeding there. Tommy Albatrani is okay with first-time starters. The workouts are a little bit of a mixed bag. The last couple don't really jump off the page. But 3 works back was a pretty good work. And so there was enough there to tilt in that direction. Piqua, if I'm guessing, the number 6 horse, Graham Motion Firster by Speightstown. So again, little nature nurture there with the trainer and the sire. We'll go with 3 debut runners in the opener at Belmont, 8, 7, 6, and 9. Belmont's second race on Saturday afternoon, $10,000 claimers going 3/4 of a mile. I have it 8, 4, 3, and 1, the number 8. Clear the Mind goes out for Saffie Joseph. First time for Saffie Joseph. Gets a little dose of class relief off the past few starts. The numbers that this horse typically fires match up very well with this bunch. Tyler Gaffalione on board. I think this horse will be a little bit interesting in here this afternoon. And what I think is kind of what you would expect for this level, kind of a competitive bunch. Cause of action, I might have tilted in that direction, but the horse hasn't been seen since the middle of March, so a little bit of a layoff to overcome, and the workouts aren't jumping off the page. Also getting some class relief that maybe raises a question mark. As I say, on talent on the page, Cause of Action might be the one to beat, but there were some question marks. Third slot, Vineyard Sound. This one on the layoff from January until May. Now a couple starts since, a couple of improving starts via the number. So I think that sets the horse up nicely. Third start back now off that layoff, dropping back down to the level of the start 2 back, which was pretty good. There are some things to like for the Linda Rice runner, Vineyard Sound, in the second at Belmont, 8, 4, 3, and 1. Third race at Belmont on Saturday afternoon. It is a state-bred allowance. Non-winners of 1 other than at a mile. I have it 5, 3, 6, and 1. I'll put Destination Winner's Circle on top. I'm going to draw a line through the turf race last time. Broke the maiden 2 back, stepped up to this level, and kind of tossed in a little bit of a dud. Now, was it the move to this level, or was it the turf? To me, it looks more like the turf was the obstacle. So getting back to dirt, cutting back to the 1-turn mile, I'll go with Destination Winner's Circle on top. Pay grade in the second slot for Christophe Clement. Broke the maiden. Similar scenario, actually, the top pick. Broke the maiden two back and then tossed in a little bit of a dud the next start. But like the top pick, I think there's a little bit of a story or a little bit of an excuse class-wise or surface. You know, you can find something to say that was the aberration. And pay grade, the change-up went from maiden special into stakes company. So now it gets back down into the more proper non-winners of one. I think we can rebound to the kind of talent we saw in the maiden breaker. And then OK Honey in the third slot. Hasn't been seen since early May, but overall this horse, although inconsistent, on a best effort belongs in the mix. And frankly, this whole field is a little bit inconsistent. My top two picks both tossed in clunkers in their last races that were preceded by wins. OK Honey has had plenty of starts. When you go down the page, and there's a couple of good ones and then not so good. So there's some inconsistency here, but on a best effort, I think OK Honey belongs in the third at Belmont. I have it 5, 3, 6, and 1. Race number 4 at Belmont on Saturday afternoon. State-bred maiden specials going 6.5 furlongs, 2, 8, 5, and 6. I put Water's Edge on top. I could have gone either way. My top two, to me, are pretty evenly matched, but I thought with only the one start and a pretty good near miss, I would go with Water's Edge. So the Dave Donk runner gets the top pick for me. Jose Ortiz was on board for that near miss debut, back on board again today. And as I say, being lightly raced, maybe there's a little more upside potential to this one, but Blitz to Win is talent-wise just as good. So as I say, I could have flipped either of these around. It's Barclay Tag, Saratoga, 4 starts so far, but certainly the last couple of starts seem to indicate that the horse has kind of figured it out and is moving in the right direction, has worked well since, so not going to ignore Blitz to Win. And then Mr. Buckley in the third spot. Pretty much right in the ballpark number-wise with the top two picks. Decent little third last time behind Blitz to Win. The race 2 back on the turf, I'm just going to draw a line through. And if you do that, the rest of the races fit squarely in with this bunch. So in the fourth at Belmont, 2, 8, 5, and 6. That'll bring us to our first commercial. We'll take that. We'll come back in a few and continue our look at Belmont for Saturday afternoon. Stay tuned. Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
The Clubhouse Racebook is the Capital Region's new home for racing and sports. 25,000 square feet of Vegas-style action with live wagering on the best horse racing from around the world. 260 flat-screen televisions and state-of-the-art wagering terminals. So don't miss out. The fun is only minutes away at 711 Central Avenue, Albany, just off exit 5 of I-90. And don't forget, if you can't make it to the Clubhouse, you can always wager online 24/7 at capitalotb.com.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report for Saturday, July 10th. And I don't think I said it at the top of the show, but we do want to thank our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship of some of the early summer programming here on the network. Nice summer meet down at Gulfstream. And they've upgraded over the last few years during the summer with some of the bigger stables staying down there. So Gulfstream, again, appreciate their sponsorship. Fifth race at Belmont, however, on Saturday afternoon. State-bred allowance runners going 6.5. I have it 6, 5, 1, and 3. I'll put Coffee Bar on top for Pletcher and Rapoli. Lightly raced, lived up to the billing in start number 2, winning off nicely to break the maiden by over 8 lengths. Came back in a stakes race, an open stakes race for a New York bred. Ran an okay second in there. Has been off since that January start, however, and it may just have been gee, we have something here. I mean, they're starting back in December, a 2-year-old New York bred, and subsequently over the next few weeks, run second in an open stake. So it might have been, we have something. Let's wait the summertime and kind of pick our spots as opposed to, going to the sideline with a ding. I don't know one way or the other, but I can certainly see that scenario. So I'll put Coffee Bar on top. My best friend in the second slot, laid off almost a year. The comeback was very good. Prior to that, had laid off over a year. That comeback was pretty good, but now gets a chance to string a couple together. So it's certainly shown some flashes out of town mostly, but those flashes indicate my best friend does have some nice talent. We'll go with that one in the mix. And Trini Luck in the third spot. The race last time, good second place finish. The Maiden Breaker was a nice win number-wise as compared to this bunch. They both bookend a number that went backwards a little bit. But overall, just looking at that horse and this bunch, Trini Luck belongs in the conversation. Fifth at Belmont, 6, 5, 1, and 3. Race number 6 at Belmont on Saturday afternoon. Should it go on the dirt? I have it 7, 13, 16, and 14. And again, you can find the dirt selections on capitalotb.com. Go to the Handicappers Report link. Those will list all the main track alternatives should turf races get switched. But on the turf in the 6th, I have it 5, 6, 3, and 4. Saratoga Flash, another runner for Barclay Tagg and Sakatoga. Career debut up at Saratoga last year. Went off as the favorite and disappointed running 5th. Then got down to Gulfstream, tried the turf. Seemed to show some improvement. Came back up to New York and a couple of starts, has clearly improved and broke the maiden last time. And it just has the look to me of 4 starts. I've figured it out. And I think the move into this non-winners of 1 is not going to prove to be much of an obstacle. Dr. Blute in the second slot. Clearly, on the numbers, the turf start on the resume is the best race. That's kind of what I'm keying on. It was also at this level. Broke the maiden in the career debut. Last time they tried the Mike Lee on dirt. But as I say, that race 2 back is what I'm hanging my hat on. Dr. Blute, if we get back to that race, may wind up being the one to beat. And then the number 3 horse in the third slot. Nice win in a starter allowance 2 back, dropped into this state-bred allowance level last time and ran an okay third. Has been doing it with numbers that match up really well with this group in the 6th, so we'll put that one in the conversation as well. This is kind of a competitive race. I could point to 2 or 3 others with kind of an equal amount of confidence. But in the 6th at Belmont, I have it 5, 6, 3, and 4. Stakes action in race number 7, the Belmont Oaks Invitational Grade 1 event, $700,000 up for grabs for 3-year-old fillies on the turf at 1.25 miles. I have it 7, 1, 5, and 3. Left the dirt selections just the same, by the way. But Plum Alley, boy, off the near miss last time in the Wonder again. I just thought she may be live and kind of primed in here for Christophe Clement. Has had a couple of starts this season. Has been working well. Lightly raced overall. Certainly showed plenty of ability as a 2-year-old last year. But I think maybe that last race signals that now as a 3-year-old, she's kind of ready to break through as well. Second slot, I'll go with Con Lima, who beat Plum Alley last time. And this might be one of those situations I talk about quite a bit. We try to outsmart ourselves, and these 2 ran 1-2 last time. I think they're going to switch it up, and then they come back and run just the way they did in the previous race. But I do think, again, being a little lightly raced overall, Plum Alley maybe is on the move forward. Con Lima has more starts, and certainly off the last race also deserves plenty of consideration. These 2 are pretty close talent-wise, but I'll tilt slightly towards Plum Alley over Con Lima. Santa Barbara in the third slot. It's Aidan O'Brien coming over with Ryan Moore to take their shot in both this race and the Belmont Derby for big money. And I can't ignore a European coming over for Aidan O'Brien. So in the 7th, the Belmont Oaks, 7, 1, 5, and 3. The Victory Ride. It is a Grade 3 event, $150,000 for 3-year-old fillies sprinting. This used to be a Saratoga race. I think they switched it down to Belmont a couple of years ago maybe. But I have it 7, 1, 3, and 2. Australasia on top. I just can't ignore 6 for 6. And last time I wasn't on board. And she was going to have to step it up against that field last time. But she did and kept the record, kept the undefeated record alive. So I just thought 6 for 6, having beaten some of these in here, probably the logical contenders last time, and having done it with that improved buyer number, I'm not going to be on the sidelines again. Australasia on top. Bella Sophia came off a huge effort in the debut to win the maiden by 11 lengths with a solid buyer. She was in with Australasia last time and ran a pretty good second, and only her second career start. So she's a salty little runner for Rudy Rodriguez. Then Miss Brazil. This was the favorite in that race last time, running behind both Australasia and Bella Sophia. But as I say, she was favored off a big effort prior to that. Already has a stakes win on the resume. Comes in again with a bullet work. I'm going to be interested to see how the odds shake out. I have to think off the last race, Australasia this time will take the action. But Miss Brazil, given her talent, beaten favorite last time, if she does start to float up, maybe she becomes a little bit interesting on the odds. But in the 8th at Belmont, 7, 1, 3, and 2. We'll take another commercial break. We'll come back and wind up our thoughts on Belmont on Saturday. Stay tuned.
It's a photo finish. It's too close to call.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Belmont's 9th race on Saturday is the featured Belmont Derby Grade 1 event with $1 million up for grabs. It's 1.25 miles on the grass, 6, 5, 2, and 8. I'll put Hard Love on top. 3 wins in a second and 4 starts for Jonathan Thomas, LaPenta, Augustin, and company. So this is a budding star, perhaps, on this 3-year-old turf scene. 2 races back, won a stakes race on the grass down at Aqueduct. Last time won an optional claimer. But again, just maybe seems to be on the cusp of this is a good spot to take this shot at the Grade 1 and maybe break through a little bit. But I'll put Hard Love on top. Du Jour, interesting story here. Moves out of the barn of Bob Baffert and into the barn of Bill Mott. But more interesting, this horse is owned in part by Bob Baffert's wife. And of course, with the situation with New York and Bob Baffert currently not being welcome in New York, moves into the barn of Bill Mott. Why? Well, they're putting $1 million up for grabs, and they think they have a pretty good 3-year-old turfer, and I think they do too. This horse coming out of a stakes win on the grass down at Churchill on Kentucky Derby weekend, so Du Jour certainly deserving consideration. Bolshoi Ballet, I mentioned in the Phillies version of the race earlier. I can't leave out Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore, one of the better riders in the world, coming over to ride as well. This is a group winner over in Europe for Aidan O'Brien. If you're not familiar, Aidan O'Brien, top trainer over in Europe. Ryan Moore, one of the best riders in the world. So this team coming over, certainly have to have this one in the conversation as well. Cellist, I think, is going to be a little bit dangerous also, coming out of a stakes win down at Churchill last time on the turf. Fun race, really nice edition of the Belmont Derby. In the 9th at Belmont, 6-5, 2 and 8. Belmont's 10th race, maiden special, is going 7 furlongs on the grass, 11, 8, 3, and 9 for me. Should it be on the dirt, 1A, 5, 2, and 9. But on the turf, 11, 8, 3, and 9. We will put Deregulation on top. It's Chad, it's Klarovich. I like their runners as being win early types. Didn't quite live up to that with the 4th in the debut, but I'll give this horse another shot with that education under the belt. Migration in the 2nd slot, second-time starter from Belmont by Candy Ride. Little breeding, little education like the top pick to build on and move forward from. And then Ranger Fox in the 3rd spot. 2 knocking on the door finishes recently with a nice series of improving buyers over the first 3 starts. 2 of them, the last 2 on the grass off a little bit of a layoff, so kind of 3rd start back, moving in the right direction. Ranger Fox, very dangerous. I'm just looking at it. Ranger Fox is the morning line favorite, and I get it. This one clearly off the last few starts and been knocking on the door will wind up, I would think, being the one to beat. But in the 10th at Belmont, 11, 8, 3, and 9. Finally, in the 11th and final at Belmont on Saturday, scheduled to go off about 6:15. It's a turf race for claimers. Should go on the dirt. I have a 2, 1, 7, and 5. On the turf, however, 3, 12, 7, and 5. I'll put Solio on top. Moves into the Orlando Noda barn. Barn's been going well at this meet. I think this one is going to fit nicely. Ran 6th in similar company last time. But overall, if you go a little further down the page, the numbers really match up well with this group. Moving into the new barn that, as I say, has been going well. I'll tilt in that direction. 2nd slot, we're going to go out to number 12, Baru. This one in the barn of Mike Maselli, 2nd off the claim and dropping back down to the level of the claim. And I think that little dose of class relief is going to be enough to put that one back in the hunt again today. And in the 3rd slot, Outrageous Bet. 3rd start back off a little bit of a layoff, and I think, given what we saw with the 2nd place finish last time against State Breds and a decent number in this kind of company, 2 back, 3rd start back off that layoff, I think this one is set up for a nice little effort this afternoon. 15-1 on the morning line. If you get that value, don't sleep on number 7, Outrageous Bet. In the 11th at Belmont, 3, 12, 7, and 5. And as promised earlier, just before we wrap up, also want to just give you a quick preview over at Delaware Park because they have a really nice stakes card today. A couple of the stakes, the Robert G. Dick Memorial Grade 3 event, $150,000 scheduled on the grass. I have it 8, 4, 5, and 3. I'm going to put Dalika on top. Took the lead late in the stake at Churchill last time before just getting caught by Temple City Terror. I have that one down in the 3rd slot. And then Micheline, a horse I've liked kind of throughout the career. This year, she got the nice win that I was on board for down at Tampa back in March. The 2 follow-up efforts haven't been much. And so I just think she's better than we've seen in those last 2. And I think in this particular field, I think she's going to be a pretty good fit. So, again, for me, in the 5th at Delaware on Saturday, the R.G. Dick Memorial, 8, 4, 5, and 3. And the highlight of the Saturday card at Delaware, the Del Cap, Grade 2 event for the Fillies and Mares going 1.25 miles, $400,000 up for grabs. I'll go 5, 3, 6, and 4. Bonnie South. Bonnie South comes out of a 2nd in the Ogden Phipps in her last start. But more importantly, who was she 2nd to? Latruska, who came back subsequently to win the stake down at Churchill a couple weeks back, which clearly flattered Bonnie South. So the Brad Cox runner, again, with the company she kept in that last start and a good 2nd, I'll tilt in her direction. I think the betting public probably there as well. Dream Marie won the Obeya, which is the prep down at Delaware for this race, and I think off of that effort, you have to have her in the mix. And Miss Marissa ran 2nd in that Obeya, so I'll use her as well. In the 9th at Delaware, 5, 3, 6, and 4, the Del Cap. We'll see if Bonnie South can get it done for Brad Cox. Florent Giraud scheduled to be in town to ride. But again, there's a nice stakes card down at Delaware on Saturday that you'll definitely want to take a look at. We'll certainly look A little bit later on OTB Live on a Saturday afternoon. We'll be back for that. Coming up shortly, we'll be racing across America for Saturday morning. It's going to be a kind of a special edition with some of our equipment up in Saratoga. And it kind of worked out well with the sad news earlier this week that Harvey Pack had passed away. I thought we'd walk down memory lane and take a look at some of Harvey Pack's work. So that'll be Racing Across America at the top of the hour. Hopefully you'll tune in for that. As for me, Seth Merrow, I'm going to wind things up for this edition of the Handicappers Report. Again, a little bit abbreviated and different just because our equipment is up in Saratoga, so it just made it easier to do this kind of abbreviated edition, give you some thoughts on Belmont and a couple of stakes at Delaware. Lots of great racing coming up. Certainly appreciate your tuning in this morning. Hopefully some good luck this afternoon. Again, we'll be back a little bit later for OTB Live, taking live looks at the racing. But coming up, top of the hour, Racing Across America. We'll see you then.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.